จากภาพที่ได้เห็นกันนะคะคงจะทำให้ทุกคนรับรู้ถึงวิกฤตสิ่งแวดล้อมที่เกิดขึ้นทั่วโลกตั้งแต่ปี 2515 เป็นต้นมาผู้คนจาก 113 ประเทศทั่วโลกก็ได้มาร่วมประชุมกันในการประชุมสหประชาชาติว่าด้วยเรื่องสิ่งแวดล้อมของมนุษย์ซึ่งนำมาสู่การจัดตั้งโครงการสิ่งแวดล้อมแห่งสหประชาชาติหรือว่า UNEP องค์การสหประชาชาติจึงได้ประกาศให้ทุกวันที่ 5 มิถุนายนของทุกปีเป็นวันสิ่งแวดล้อมโลกเพื่อระลึกถึงจุดเริ่มต้นของการร่วมมือกันของนานาชาติในด้านสิ่งแวดล้อมในแต่ละปีนะคะในวันสิ่งแวดล้อมโลกก็จะมีการคิดคำขวัญหรือธีมกันขึ้นมาซึ่งขึ้นอยู่กับสถานการณ์สิ่งแวดล้อมที่ทั่วโลกกำลังเผชิญอยู่อย่างในปี 2564 ปีนี้ก็จะมีธีมที่ว่าด้วยเรื่องของการฟื้นฟูระบบนิเวศ
In 1972, the UN General Assembly designated the 5th of June as World Environment Day. This year, let us take a moment to remind ourselves of the importance to ensure a healthy planet for generations to come. This marks the beginning of the UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration, which will last until 2030. This is also the time frame to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and the timeline that scientists have identified to take urgent steps to address climate change before it is too late. Today, 2/3 of the world's urban population live in cities and towns across Asia and the Pacific region, and urbanization is continuing at an unprecedented pace, scale, and complexity. Current development patterns and unplanned growth in some cities have often led to significant and unsustainable use of resources, to environmental degradation, and to unmanageable production of waste and pollutions. These challenges hit the poorer and vulnerable populations the most, as they experience limited access to basic infrastructure, services, and decent livelihoods. When the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development was adopted in 2015, governments pledged to work with local authorities and communities to renew and plan our cities and human settlements. Sustainable Development Goal 11 aspires to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable, and recognizes that cities are the driving forces for sustainable urban development.
Restoring ecosystems in the context of rapid urbanization requires a reflective understanding of the way which we interact with, govern, and preserve our environment. Today, it is recognized that 50% of the world's solid waste and our other waste is generated by cities, and that they account for about 3/4 of the world's energy consumption. At the same time, the conversions of people to urban city centers has led to significant greenhouse gas emissions and air pollution, largely driven by increased energy consumption, transportation, and residential needs. As a society, we are producing and consuming more. Megacities such as Bangkok, which are attractive for socio-economic, education, and livelihood opportunities they offer, are also often the epicenter for much of this evolving growth. However, what we need to appreciate is that every protecting system has its limits. When our human activities fail to internalize the impact on our surrounding environment and expand beyond the capacities of our ecosystems, an inevitable consequence is degradation of the environment and our natural resources.
Since 2018, Nadi Subdistrict Municipality has been participating in this project. When it was selected along with 4 other cities in Cambodia, Fiji, Mongolia, and the Philippines, from more than 80 cities across the region that applied to participate. You may ask, what does it mean to localize the SDGs? Localizing means considering subnational contexts, challenges, and opportunities, from the setting of goals and targets to the implementation, monitoring, and reporting of their achievement. Localizing is a process that needs to be sensitive to local opportunities, priorities, and ideas. It calls for co-creating solutions through the generation of genuine partnerships for inclusive, needs-driven, and local-level responses to challenges. UN ESCAP's project on localizing the 2030 agenda in Asian and Pacific cities aims to strengthen the capacities of local governments and other key urban stakeholders to adopt policies that support moving from wasteful take, make, and dispose linear models to more circular approaches to waste. And in this, everyone is a key stakeholder. We all have roles to play and shared responsibilities.
On behalf of UN Habitat, it is my pleasure to be part of the efforts by the Earth Foundation to circularize waste in Nadi, Thailand, as part of our joint project with UN ESCAP on localizing the SDGs and sustainable urban resource management. We each have an important role to play in restoring ecosystems, such as our work in Nadi, with local government and industries in addressing industrial waste and effluent management to the everyday actions by households and the choices we undertake as individuals.
We appreciate that the Ecological Alert and Recovery Thailand, or Earth Foundation, our local implementing partner, has been working diligently with a broad range of stakeholders from local and provincial governments, civil society, academia, research institutions, the private sector, and the wider community to improve industrial waste management in the community. For Nadi, industrial waste management is a key priority, a challenge partly because of rapid urbanization and manufacturing that could or may contribute to unsustainable solid waste, wastewater, and natural resource management. We do hope that this project will ultimately make an impact in terms of increased capacity building for stakeholders and evidence-based decision-making for Nadi to better manage its industrial waste more clearly, cleanly, and sustainably. Such actions should further lead to restoring ecosystems in the longer term. Ultimately, by solving the industrial waste problems on the ground, Nadi's local efforts can contribute to the national and global effort to achieve the SDGs and to promote sustainable urbanization. These are appropriate efforts to acknowledge on World Environment Day. I thank you for your attention and wish you good health.